Good morning. I don't know if you just heard that. A great horn saying good morning as well. Woo-hoo. 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 Behold the 10,000 things. Got a plan this morning. Once enough people show up, we're gonna read a little Dao, and then we're gonna read a passage, and then we're gonna talk about it, or I'm gonna talk about it, and then we'll read a couple more, and then when we're done, we're done. But I thought, why not do the Dao with you guys for a little bit? So this is one. Maybe we'll go through the whole Dao Di Jing. I don't know what we'll do, but in the meantime, I guess we'll just wait and see. Gotta let people show up first. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Yeah, church time with Paul. Tell a joke. Knock knock. Knock knock jokes don't work very well. God damn it. On the internet, they just end. It's here. I don't know if you could hear that. It's very soft. Woo-hoo. Great horned owls are roosting. Why couldn't the old turtle find a mate? Because he wouldn't stick his neck out. He had a reptile dysfunction. That's very good. Her username is genius. Okay. I don't know about genius. It's just my name mixed with the word poltergeist. That's all it is. You look handsome today. Thank you. Free Palestine, free America from Israel and Trump. Well, I'm going to invite you all, those of you that want to step out of just for a few minutes with me. Just for a few minutes. Step out of the news cycle and let's talk wisdom. Can we? Let's do it. I have here my Dao, my Dao Di Jing. I'm going to, usually I do this alone, and I open it to a random page. That's how I read the Dao these days. But we're going to start at the start. Not that the start matters. We're going to start with Dao Jing, which is the first half of the Dao Di Jing. Then there's Dao Jing, the second half. One of my favorite stanzas. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Nameless, the beginning of heaven and earth, named the mother of 10,000 things. Being empty, see the wonder. Being present, see the appearance. These two are the same but have different names. This is mystery. Mystery upon mystery, the doorway to wonder. That's the opening of the Dao Di Jing. That's the opening stanza. That is how this work of Eastern philosophy introduces itself to the reader. And it basically says, it's basically undermining itself from a Western perspective. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. I just spoke about the Tao, so was all that false? The name that can be named is not the eternal name, right? So from where I sit, the Tao is telling you, and you know, once again, I'm not a scholar. The Tao is a big interpretive sponge. And so I'm not a Tao Te Ching scholar. I'm just a reader. And for where I sit, that first opening stanza of the Tao is telling you that the Tao is unknowable. So mystery upon mystery, the gateway to wonder. That is something about the Tao that I have always liked. It is not telling you prescriptively what is. It's explaining to you one man's thoughts on the Tao. The Tao Te Ching is an Eastern philosophical work, nominally by a guy named Lao Tzu, who may or may not have existed. It is an Eastern Dharmic philosophical text, so it is in the same wheelhouse as Zen Buddhism, Shinto Buddhism, and Hinduism. They all have connective tissue, and we call those religions Dharmic. And so that is the Tao Te Ching. Daoism is a religious adherence. It's an atheistic religion. Paul, you're awesome, bro. I started watching you and the boys when I was 13. I'm 27 now. God damn, son. You must be fucked up. Well, I read this book. I want to read the intro to you guys. This is not from the Tao. This is just something that. So just listen to this. The 81 chapters of this book are like tasty morsels set out carefully on a long buffet table. Come in, take a bite, chew it slowly, try to taste all the flavors. Later on, maybe take another bite or two. No need to eat too much at once. The Tao is the way of balance and harmony. And so, you know, having read the first stanza of the Tao, the first chapter, I guess you would call it, and been instructed on the fact that this is a book about mystery. Answers, if they exist, are within you. 2, in this world, beauty is called beauty because there is ugliness. Good is called good because there is evil. Thus, emptiness and existence transform into each other. Difficult and easy come from each other. Long and short compare to each other. High and low flow from each other. Sounds and voices blend together in harmony. Before and after follow each other. Knowing this, the sage acts by doing nothing and teaches without saying a word. The 10,000 things arise, but he is silent. Things grow, but he takes nothing for himself. He acts, but doesn't compel. He creates, but seeks no recognition. By not seeking recognition, he has nothing to lose. So, what the second stanza of the Tao Te Ching is talking about here is Wu Wei, subconscious action. And it is all throughout the Tao Te Ching and Eastern religion in general, Dharmic religion. The idea of not striving, we were just introduced to it. in chapter 2, or, stanza 2. The sage teaches without speaking. What does that mean? Well, I think it means that you are more of an example to others than a direct interventionalist, right? Like, you don't come into somebody's life and say, do this, do that. You live your life. Show, don't tell. Exactly, Mondavi. Exactly. Show, don't tell. And as a result of that, right, the Tao becomes a very personal thing. There's a reason why, I've never done a show like this where we actually read the Tao together, because I don't proselytize the Tao. I'm not a religious guy in the sense that I'm looking to get you to agree with me or to enjoy the same things I enjoy. To be quite frank, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not striving for Taoism. I'm not striving to be a Daoist monk or anything like that. I read the Tao. I try to interpret the Tao. Show, don't tell. Exactly. Show, don't tell. Just a good conversation. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I like talking about the 10,000 things. As the Tao says, that's everything. TBH, I've wanted to hear you talk Tao more often. Well, here we are, the Dirty Dao. I'm going to keep doing this. I don't know how often. We'll pop in, we'll read the Tao together. We'll get all the way through it, maybe. I'm going to do one more chapter today, and then I'm going to say, like, we're done. Because we've had our morsels, right? So we may as well take a look at the 3rd chapter of the Tao Jing before we get into the Dai Jing. All right, here we go. Chapter 3, following right on the heels of chapter 2. Don't honor good men, and the people will not strive. Don't value rare goods, and the people will not steal. Don't show off valuables, and the people's hearts will not be confused. Thus the wise ruler empties minds and fills stomachs, weakens ambitions and strengthens bones. Make sure the people have no knowledge and no desire. Those who have knowledge will not dare to act. Do without doing, and all will be peaceful. So the Tao will talk about leaders a lot. And in this case, he's talking about not, in my opinion, Lao Tzu is talking about not striving for political goals. That politics, the wise leader, empties minds and fills stomachs. That's what it says, right? To empty yourself is a big concept in Zen Buddhism and Daoism. To become empty. That means to remove from yourself desire, angst, anguish, sadness, grief, happiness, and to focus yourself, right, on life. Does that make sense? Politics is not life. Your job is not life. Your relationship is not life. This is life. This moment, this place. And if you allow yourself to be churned into butter by the political cycle, right? If that is the lens through which you look at the world, you see the manifestation. You don't see the mystery. The Tao Te Ching is the mystery. Well, the Tao itself, the Tao Te Ching is describing the mystery. The Tao is the mystery, the mother of 10,000 things. The motive force. Great comb over, thanks. And so in that third stanza, the last one we'll read today together, the Tao is asking you as a political being to turn your politics empty, to empty your politics. Hey man, I hope you're having a good stream and doing well today. I, on the other hand, is really struggling today with my poo. Oh, we'll get banned. Cheese on him. It's interesting. We've read 3 stanzas of the Tao together this morning. Well, most of us have. And if you see the chat is the manifestation, right? If you read before people get banned, the chat are people who are striving, right? They are striving for notice. They're striving for validation. They're striving for an impact. And as I speak the Tao, as I read the Tao, and as we discuss the Tao, you see the manifestations, right? You see the other end of the Tao, even as we're talking about it, right? You see people who are caught in the act of striving. You see people who are mixed up in politics and mixed up in the problems and woes and necessities and joys of their neighbors. In fact, many people are looking at their neighbors with envy, striving to be like them. Or they are just trolls. Well, I mean, you can label them whatever you want. We're talking about emptiness and manifestation. Don't worry about focusing. We focused already. We read together, and we're sitting and we're talking about the Tao. Focusing is striving. Don't worry about it. Let it pass over you, beneath you, and through you. Let the thoughts and manifestations of others fall to the floor. And that is what happens. You guys hear? I don't know if that's loud enough, but my great horned owls are hooting this morning. Hola, señor. ¿Cómo haces? And what you hear there when the owl hoots, that's the Tao. Don't you love that? Loosen your grip on the banhammer. Make peace with the skip. You can. It's okay that they're here. Paul, goals for the future. None. Not really. I mean, my goal for the future is to experience the future as I've experienced the past. How's that? I love that. What's the subject of the spring or the stream? We're talking Dowdy Jing today. But we can talk about whatever you want now. What made you curious about the Tao? Where did you hear about it? Well, I started looking into Zen Buddhism because I am a mindfulness meditation practicer for 20 years or more now, I guess. Um, as a result of that, I started looking into Zen Buddhism at a time in my life where my mind was very, very, very unquiet and filled with negativity. And what I found were Zen koans. Zen koans, some of my favorite things to sit and listen to. And as I dug a little bit further into Zen Buddhism, I found the Tao. The Tao predates Zen Buddhism in terms of time. It is an earlier manifestation of Dharmic thought, and it's simpler. Now, what I just read to you guys, that may not seem simple, but try to read the Dhammapada or any of the Zen Buddhist works, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Simplicity, no gods, no metaphors, just just the truth. And so the Tao, as soon as I found it, I latched onto it because it started to speak to me at that time in my life, about things I needed to hear. And the deeper that I dive into it, the more time I spend in it, the more peaceful I feel within it. So that's where it came from. That's how I found my way to it. This guy has everything. Everything? I'll be honest with you, this guy is nothing, right? The impact that I've made on the earth and the power that I can wield on this earth could be snuffed in a second. You know much about Stoic philosophy, I like Zen Buddhism also. Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Yeah, Meditations is a fantastic book. Meditations is a book that has the same flavor as the Tao Te Ching, in my opinion. Very connected, Stoicism and Daoism. I don't think it's over your head, Ruby. I don't think it's over your head at all. The Tao is meant to be a mystery. It tells you mystery upon mystery, the gateway to wonder. You're not supposed to understand the Tao. That's not what it's there for. So don't worry about it. Don't judge yourself because something in the Tao didn't make sense. Look pretty good for your age. Okay. Hey, what's your story? Little boy born in the farmlands of Central California, grows up and is sitting here in northern Washington state. And there you go. There's my story. I also have the version you have, but I own the Amber Brooks version, which I like a bit more. I own several versions of the Tao. I use this one because it has the step by step in it. So if we want to dig down into what it means, we can look at the step by step ancient Chinese. So, like, for example, if I were to want to, I could read in Chinese. Dao ke Dao, Fei Chong Dao, Ming ke Ming, Fei Chong Ming, Wu Ming Tian Di Shi, Yu Ming Wan Wu Ji Mu, Gu Chong Wu Yu Yi Guan Ki Mao, Chong Yu Yu Yi Guan Ki Jiao. And then the direct translation of all of that, right? You can dig as deep as you want with this version of the Tao, which I like. It lets us talk that if we want to talk that. That which claims no merit never leaves it has been my favorite passage so far. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Are you a polyglot? No. No. I'm learning very slowly because it's a very, very, very tough language for an English speaker to learn. I'm learning Mandarin slowly but surely. Paul, how much did trauma shape you today? Did you learn and grow from it? Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, everything shapes you, right? If you look at yourself as a block of marble and adversity as a chisel, yeah. Oui, absolument. Je parle souvent avec mes amis francophones. You want to learn a little bit of other languages, right? I find them interesting, so that's why I do it. Si, oui. Maintenant. Ha, boo. Hung Gao Shing Ren Shini. Does the Tao posit an immortal soul? No, 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 no. The Tao is not a Western style religion. It does not posit an all-knowing, all-seeing, all encompassing God. It does not talk about sin. It doesn't talk about punishment. Ni hao ma. Best way to learn a language, dive into it. Find something that you like about the language and dive into it. I don't know. What? I'm going to go make some coffee. It'll just be a minute. come out? Or you won't stay in? You gotta make the choice. I can't choose for you. No can choose. You gotta choose. You gotta make a choice. Wow. I'm lying waiting for you. Yeah, had to get the coffee pot started, man. It's that time for me. Time for the coffee pot. Just subscribed? Cool. Well, welcome. Fantastic. Did you see Ozzy Osbourne's last concert? I've seen pieces of it. I haven't watched the whole thing. How am I doing? I'm doing. Man, I'm doing. It's a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. Can't really complain. It's beautiful here. Beautiful and still this morning. How you doing? What do you think, bud? What do you think, bud? I don't know. There's a couple of chapters of the Tao that I really enjoy. I don't know if favorite is what I would say, but 14 is really good. Let's read 14 together. There's 15. We need 14. Look but not see, call it dim. Listen but not hear, call it faint. Reach but not grasp, call it slight. These three things can't be investigated. They blend and become one. Its top is not bright, its bottom is not dark. Unceasing and nameless, it returns to the void. It is the form of the formless, the image of the void, confusing and indistinct. Meet it, you can't see its beginning. Follow it, you can't see its end. Hold fast to the ancient Tao. Master the present moment. Know the ancient beginning. Remain grounded in the Tao. That's one of my favorites. 20 is good too. Name of the book is the Tao Te Ching. Really ancient book. Looks good where you live. You want to take a little better look? I'll show you what I'm dealing, what I'm working with here. Ooh, there we go. I like doing this for you guys, so you can see what I see while I'm sitting here and talking to you. This is my yard. Nah, my dog. Little though he is. Fluffy Butt D from the salty old sea on the peepaw bed that I bought for he. Chapter 54, Tiggy Skibbles. You want to hear it? Let's read chapter 54. Do you want to know what it is? Well-established things are not easily uprooted. Well-held things are not easily pulled away. That's why children and grandchildren continue to offer sacrifices. Cultivate yourself and your day will be true. Cultivate your family and its day will be enough. Cultivate the village, its day will be long-lived. Cultivate your nation, its day will be abundant. Cultivate your world, its day will be everywhere. So use yourself to know yourself. Use your family to know your family. Use the village to know the village. Use the nation to know the nation. Use the world to know the world. How do I know the world is like this? Because of this. Sorry for being drunk last night. Don't worry about it. It was fine. Your backyard looks like the snowy mountains. Well, it's the Olympic Mountains. I'm in Washington State on the west side of the Puget Sound, near the ocean. He plans to get more tattoos? Yep. I like that. That's deep. Well, yeah. Master the moment. Master the present moment. Being present in the moment is the Tao. I'm sick as a dog today, shaking and nauseous, never drinking again on my mama. I hope that's true. Yeah, I hope you can make that happen for yourself. Kind of crazy, but any idea for mother-daughter tats? No. I tried. I thought for a second, like, what would I, if I was a mother and a daughter, what would I want? I had fucking no clue. Now I'm making coffee. Peppermint bark something. This is your fault. Thanks, Paul. Okay. You're welcome. My mom keeps picking booger designs. Booger? Oh, like booger, like gross. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta find that happy medium. We're both getting tatted, so. Woke up with a weird song in my head. I always wake up with a song in my head. Usually it's like a rock song or something, or like a rap song or some shit. Today I woke up with away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky shone down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. Why did I wake up with that in my head today? The soul is a Western idea. The original teachings of Gautama, Siddhartha Gautama, yes, are centered around the immortal soul, but do not posit a sentient creator, God, or an original sin, nor is it Western. Sure, absolutely. Got the ghost of Hereditary in you? What? Are you talking about King Payman? King Payman. All hail Payman. Hi, brother. How you're doing? I'm okay. Christmas carols in July, but it's now August. Well, yeah, I know. Why that, though? Why that one? Why Away in a Manger? You got me. I don't know, man. You did some blow? Not since my 20s, man. In my 20s, I did a little bit of blow. Now I'm a little old for that, don't you think? Maybe. I don't know. I feel a little old for it. Wake and bake? Nah. I haven't smoked. Yesterday I smoked a little, I think, at some point during the day. I don't feel like smoking today. Well, weed anyway. No offense. None taken. None taken. You're 46. Well, you and I are generational cousins, Fred. Grew up at some similar times. 45. I was born in 1980. I'm assuming you were born in 79. Do you think you'll be drinking at the meetup? Probably, yeah. Yeah. I'll probably have a few. Does the Tao prescribe a path of liberation, a la Gautama's teachings? No. No, the Tao really doesn't prescribe. That's one of the things that I like about it. The Tao is to be interpreted. The Tao is for inner thought, not outer prescription. I was born just a few days after 9/11. Well, there you go. You're a youngster. I still remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. You're definitely a youngster. I was out there fucking making lattes and, you know, smoking dope, pooping in a toilet, the whole nine, you know. You a youngster. So got so much life out ahead of you, you know. It kind of hurts me a little bit personally to know that you're hurt and that your hurt causes you to hurt yourself. Because I've been there. You know, I have empathy for you as a young man. But I also know that that path that I walked down, that self-destructive path, that led me here. It was because of that path that I am the person that I am. I don't regret it. And so, as sad as it might make me that a young person like Femboy is hurting himself because of his mental pain, I also know that many people need that. It's like a crucible. They need that. I was a young man. I hurt myself. I hurt people around me. But it was in furtherance of learning how to be what I am today and what I will be, hopefully, in the future, right? Every single step that I take, every single thing that I've ever done in my life has led me right here, right now, to this moment. And I'm free and I'm happy here. I know you'll be okay, Femboy. I just know how hard it is. I remember that angst and that anger and that sadness. I still have it in me. It never, I don't think you ever quench it, but you certainly can't quench it with alcohol. But I don't blame you for trying, you know? Any advice for 18-year-old kids in 2025 how to do life? Psh, fuck, I don't know, Andrew. I mean, you're my age. You're my age. I don't know, man. Uh, I would give no advice to my younger self. This is a weird thing, but this is how I feel, right? People like to talk about that a lot. They go, oh, if you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you do different? My answer is honestly not a single thing. I'd let myself make every mistake again, right? Because those mistakes fuel my growth. Those mistakes fuel my position. And those mistakes are the reason that I am Paul's ego and I'm here in front of you, talking to you the way that I am, looking how I look, sounding how I sound, with the knowledge that I've accumulated. That's why, you know. And so if I go back and monkey with that, I wouldn't know who I was. Who is that? Do you hear them? What bird does that? Do you guys hear that? Pew, pew. Sounds like a laser. Sorry for getting deep. You don't got to apologize to me, friend. You've done no wrong by me. I like deep. I like shallow. I like water. I like wading into the water. I think I got monkeys. That did kind of sound monkey-ish. Choo choo. There's an app called Merlin ID, and it can listen to bird calls to identify the bird. Oh, that might be kind of cool. I might have to look at that. You guys hear him? Give us a TJ story. TJ story. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one I haven't told. I've told a lot of my good TJ stories already. I loved one day when we were all living together in the Tinderbox house in Beauchene, Louisiana. I got up, I couldn't sleep, came downstairs. And TJ was sitting in the living room with those big plastic buckets of cheese balls, right? Soup, chunk, huck, right? He's like, right? And I'm watching him, like I'm standing in the darkness. He doesn't even know I'm there. I'm kind of coming down the hallway towards the living room, and I see him sitting there, and he's like, he's eating out of that thing. And then he goes like this. He puts his hand down for a minute. And then he brings it back up, and he's like, So I walk into the living room, and I see what's going on. He's eating the cheese balls, the cheesy poofs. And then when he gets the cheesy dust on his fingers, he's putting it down and letting Dinor lick it off. And then he just goes right back in. That was TJ. That's a TJ story right there. There you go. You're seriously intelligent, multiple degree, I believe. No, sir. College dropout. Total fucking caveman. But that's TJ, you know. You gotta love him. Yeah, college dropout, friend. Read a lot of books and studied a lot in college and stuff, but I'm no expert on anything, man. Made you stop using booze as a coping mechanism in your 20s? Moment of clarity. You know, I realized that my life was getting harder as a result of the drinking. I realized that, I was closing myself off to opportunity with the drinking. And I just decided to stop. It was, influence of other people around me and, everything. But I just didn't need it anymore at a certain point, I think. And so I stopped. I hate to swear, but fuck off. No way. No, bro. I don't. Yeah, I'm a college dropout, multiple time college dropout. I started college when I was 18 years old. I was on a full ride theater arts scholarship at Fresno State University. I dropped out after a semester. Was able to get the which is really rare. I had my drama teacher pull strings for me with the college to get that reinstated for a second try, and I fucked that up too. Then later in my 20s, when I moved back to California, I went back to school again and fucked that up. And then later on, in my 30s, my mid 30s, I went back to school again and dropped out again. So yeah, that's my story, man. College has become high school part two. They literally have a basic algebra class. Yeah, basic algebra, English 1A. Thanks for sharing your experience. Crazy. Yeah, for sure. Maybe question being there. Yeah. I had some of the same stuff going on. It's like, I felt like I know all this stuff. Like, why am I taking an English class? Like, at that point, I was a collegiate scholar. Like, I'd been published. Why am I taking English 1A? I don't know. I don't know. My year in basic classes felt like a scam. Just an extra year of money for the college. Yep. you ever write screenplays? Not screenplays, plays, stage plays. Yeah, I've written two stage plays, co-written two stage plays in my life, and I got to perform them both, which was kind of cool. I was very lucky. I went to a high school that had an amazing theater arts program, especially given where it was, Central California, in the middle of the fucking farmlands. What were they? I wrote a play called Southern Tards. Southern Tards was about two retarded brothers who sat on their porch together and watched the world go by. It was me and my friend Rodney. It was a short one-act play. And then I wrote a multi-act play called Star Stare, which was a Star Trek, what would you call it? Like a parody. So those are the two shows that I have written in my life. Were you ever a teacher? No, no. I was actually in school to be a teacher. When I first went to school, the first time I went to college, my focus was education. So theater arts education. I didn't want to be, but I was being kind of groomed, I guess, to be a high school level theater arts teacher. I did teaching in my last job as well prior to doing this for a living. I was a trainer for teachers. So I worked at the school district, but not in a teaching, not in an educator capacity. I was a technologist, a technology specialist. And so it was my job to maintain all of the technology on 3 campuses and to teach the teachers how to use it. So I'm a good teacher, I think. I'm a good trainer at the very least. I know that because I've always gravitated towards training in every job that I've done. But no, not a teacher. Angy little dog. Little dog, why are you so angy? That's not Dinor. You would know if it was Dinor. Dinor is more of a hound bark. Bow! Bow! You'd know if it was Dinor. That's a little yapper. Yep, yep, yep. That's a texter. Tap, tap, tap. Ever done DMT? No, sir. You are awesome. Hey, thanks, buddy. I think you're pretty fucking awesome, too. I think you're a good teacher. I mean, you teach people in your streams, even. It might not be book smarts, but you're still spitting knowledge. Sure, sure. I just don't couch myself as a teacher. I learn in these as well. I get, you guys that have been watching me, you know I get corrected all the time. Amelia will be out here, somebody in the chat will go, "You're wrong, Paul." And I go, "Fuck, I am wrong." So we're teaching each other, right? Aren't we? Isn't that what conversation is? We're learning from each other a little bit at a time. Have you noticed the further effects from the new pharmaceuticals? No. I mean, you guys, have been watching me for a long time. You probably have noticed a little difference in my speech patterns and maybe in my cadence. I've noticed that it's that I'm a bit slower, not mentally slower, but just slower thought process, and I think that it's really helping me, guys. I now have my diagnosis, bipolar disorder, and the fact that I was 45 years old when I got that diagnosis will let you know how I've suffered. Not that it matters, but bipolar disorder is horrible, and I have suffered my whole life from it, and I didn't even know. I didn't even know I was suffering. bipolar disorder is kind of rare in men. And so that coupled with the fact that I was diagnosed in the 90s with depression and anxiety, and then in the early 2000s with PTSD. And I think that I just snuck through the cracks, man. But you can think about living your whole life as an unmedicated bipolar guy. I have nothing but respect for people who suffer. Like, it's horrible. It's horrible. But the new medication that I'm on, and I'm not even on my dose yet. I'm stepping up my dose, so doubled my dose since the last time I talked to you guys about it, and I'll double it again in about a week, and that'll be my maintenance dose for a while, and we'll see how I feel on it. But it's helping me a lot, guys. It really is, and yeah. I'm a yapper. Yep, yep, yep. I'm a texter. Tap, tap, tap. Uh, Dumb question, but are the depression, anxiety, PTSD diagnoses still valid then for you specifically? Yes, yeah, sure. What it means is that likely the anxiety and depression component has been mismedicated. So I've been medicated for typical major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. I have been on different medications since I was a kid for these things. And those medications alternately helped or didn't. And all the way up until about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was taking a medication that was meant for anxiety and depression. And that medication was not stabilizing my mental state. It was treating the symptoms. It made it less likely for me to tumble into a panic attack, made it less likely for me to tumble into a deep depression. And so I've been taking that drug for a couple of years, right now at the dose that I'm at, just because it helps a little. This new drug that I've been put on is a different class of drug altogether. It's a drug that I've never been on. The drug that I'm on now was actually meant for seizures, if you can believe it. It's meant for people who have grand mal seizures due to brain damage or what do they call that? Epilepsy. And, it has been discovered that this drug also stabilizes mood in people who suffer from bipolar disorder. And it is a drug that, like, for example, the depression drug that I take, you have to be on it for like a month to really start seeing any benefits from it. Whereas the mood stabilizer drug that I'm taking works instantly. It was like a magic pill. I took it the first day and I could feel it immediately that something was different. And I didn't know at first if that different was good or bad. But now that I've been here for 3 weeks, I know it's good. I know for sure it's good. I don't have to question it. But it is what it is, man. I'm a mentally ill guy, right? But I've made it, right? I've made it this far in my life without getting locked up. you know, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. And um, yeah, it's a journey, you know. I received electroconvulsive therapy, and I would say that since I haven't had the clinical depression, yeah, electroconvulsive therapy is really, really complex, and it's really, really like controversial treatment. But you know, if it worked, it worked. Another YouTube guy I follow was also recently diagnosed bipolar, got medicated, which changed his life. Also about your age. White guy from Cali with wife, no kids, YouTube and streaming career. Wow, I need to meet this guy. I need to meet this guy. Sounds like a normal guy. Sounds like my kind of guy. But yeah, I don't mean to overstate it, but it really has been life changing. Being medicated and being stable for all these days in a row. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, you know. But I hope it doesn't. I'm super happy, and I feel really good. I feel okay every day, and I don't need to fucking. You guys remember, I haven't smoked any weed at all today. Prior to this medication, I would have probably been 3 joints deep by now. I'd have 3 grams of weed in me, and I'd probably be thinking about like, oh, maybe I'll go get another one. I don't feel that impetus anymore, so kind of cool. The devil's lettuce. I still love it. It still helps me with like, because I'm old and fat, so I got back problems and shit. So I still love it. I still toke it. But for now, like now, it's not like I need to smoke so I'm not a fucking asshole. It's like I need to smoke so I can stretch my back. I need to smoke so I can get a little fucking muscle relaxant going on in there. Shugga, shugga, shugga. You know? Oh, I'm definitely going to smoke at the meetup for sure. I'm allergic to aspirin and ibuprofen. Weed is the only natural anti-inflammatory that I can take. Well, there you go. I'm not allergic to those things, but they don't work very well for me. Weed does, you know. And even weed, it's not like super fucking great, in terms of helping me to loosen up and stretch, get some movement in my spine and stuff. It's like yeah, see. No weed for 18 hours or something, I think. And I'm feeling it, you know what I mean? Everything's just so tight. Everything's just so tight. But later on, I spark up a little indica, everything will get loosey goosey and I'll be able to, but that's a whole different reason for smoking weed than what I used to do. Oh yeah, my back goes crunch, 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 bro. It's pretty bad. I've got hyperkyphosis, right? So that means my head sits forward on my body. If I turn to the side, you'll be able to see. So I kind of almost got a hunchback. Not real bad, but my back goes kind of like this and then up to the neck. And I've got hyperkyphosis in that upper back, and then I've got scoliosis in my cervical spine. So it's a little bit moved. So that whole area of my back is just weak and painful. Yo, Unc, my mom just took $7,650 and 1,400 in weed. What should I do? Bro, you got killed a bit. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do no. That was a joke. That was a joke. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, dude. Quasimodo. That's me. Spine is like a Jenga tower. You mess up one little. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a painting. Let me see if I can find it. This is one of my favorite paintings. It's by Frida Kahlo. Frida. Frida. Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo column. Columna rota. Yeah, you see, let me see if I can get it for you here. I want the full fucking picture of the columna rota. El columna rota. God damn it, man. I hate that you can't find really good pictures. There we go. This is the full columna rota. My favorite Frida Kahlo painting. And as you can see, she has painted herself as she looked in life, but she has opened her throat to show her spinal column. And you can see that the column that holds her body up is broken. El columna rota. Thought the same thing. Yeah, I mean that picture's worth 1,000 words. You can see Frida's pain in that picture. She was injured in a bus accident, shattered her spine, had to go through years and years of physical therapy to learn to walk again, etc., etc., etc. El columna rota. Ooh. Yep, I could grow legally. I think I heard your background. You probably did, man. Probably did. It's about the way it goes. Hutch. Oh, I know Hutch. Yeah, I know Hutch. I think I've heard of him and seen him around the Destiny community before. I'll talk to anybody, man, but like most people just don't know who I am, and I'm not a reach out guy, you know. But I never shy away from conversation. Is this your week off? No, sir. Nope. Last week, and then this upcoming week, and then our week off. And for that week off, Paul's ego is going to be traveling and shooting. Paul, if you could move the age when you're adult from 18 years old, would you up in age or down? I think it's about right. I think the whole age thing is about right. I think 18 is about right. Do I think that you're absolutely ready to be an adult at 18? Most of you know, but you got to call it somewhere. You got to call it somewhere, and I think 18 is about the best we can do. 18 to serve in the Army, 21 to drink. We'll explain that. I mean, I'd be fine raising it up to 21 just to make everything fucking kosher. I make everything, because it does seem strange that at 18 years old you can go take a gun and blow people up for the country, but you can't go into a bar and slam a fucking whiskey. It doesn't make any sense. So if anything, I'd be fine with let's raise the age of adulthood to 21. just to make it all fucking easy. And I do think that 21 would probably be closer to correct than 18 when it comes to like treating somebody as an adult. But once again, kids driving at 16 and a half, bro. I was driving at 15 and a half with my learner's permit. That's something that's changed since our fucking generation, Andrew. Dude, it's my 16th birthday, April 1st, 1996. I can tell you exactly where I was. I was at the DMV. I was at the DMV for my 16th birthday getting my license. Now, dude, some kids don't even bother to get their license till they're in their 20s. It's wild. People slowly integrated into the responsibility and privileges of being an adult from teenhood just so they don't have it all happen at once. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like kids nowadays, they're not like, they don't care to have a car. I think that so much socialization has moved here. You know what I mean? This kind of thing where it's just like, oh, I just want to sit in my room and talk to my friends on Discord or, play a video game or whatever. I think so much of human socialization has moved here that having a fucking car doesn't matter to teenagers anymore. Bro, not Chris, Andrew Hedges. Chris Hedges is cool too. Andrew Hedges. Bro, I bet you were desperate at 16, 15, 16. I bet you were so ready to have your car so you could go be with your friends, you go pick up your girl, whatever it was, right? You have that little extra drip of freedom as a teenager. That was so important to you, probably knowing your age, knowing you came from my generation, because it was important to everybody in my generation. 15 and a half, you went and got your learner's permit, you started driving your parents around. At 16, your 16th birthday, you were in there, man. Doesn't help where $4,000 doesn't even buy you a functioning hoopty. That's true. That is true. That's something I don't think about much. Like, you used to be able to get, $500-$600 car and keep it running. That doesn't exist anymore. I had a friend who drove illegally for years, kept getting tickets and fines every time he got stopped. I guess he wasn't afraid of going to Iceland jail. I've heard, these Nordic jails, man, they're pretty fucking swanky. One of my retirement plans is to immigrate to Sweden and then rob a bank. Get caught, though. Go to that Swedish prison where they let you play video games and stuff, and they give you a nice little hotel room. And yeah, in high school you had DMV class. Yep. You have driving courses. I took when I was 15, I started taking the driving course that summer. And, you go out with the teacher and you learn how to drive. Renton, near Renton. I'm about an hour to an hour and a half from Seattle, where I'm sitting right here. And that's the only reason for that is because I got to go all the way up and around the Puget Sound. There's only one bridge that'll take you across the Puget Sound, and it's at the Narrows in Tacoma. So I've got to drive all the way around the Sound to the Tacoma Narrows to get to Seattle. That's why it takes an hour and a half. But yeah, I'm close enough to Renton to get there, like, in an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. They had a driving course at the high school. Yeah, we didn't have that. We had a summer program where you enrolled and you would show up at the school, and it would be you and two other people, and you would rotate through and you'd drive around town. They took you all the way into Fresno from where we were, 30 miles away, and then you double back and come home. Did it ruin Sweden to move in all those immigrants? And do you think average Swedes regret doing so? I don't know, man. I was talking to some Swedes the other day on the Dome. Was talking to a guy and a gal, both from Sweden. And they were I felt like even they didn't fully lockstep agree on the immigrant issue, like the North African, Middle Eastern immigrant issue in Sweden. It seems like even they kind of looked at it from different perspectives, even though they lived pretty close to each other in Sweden. And so, at not being a Swedish guy, it's kind of hard for me to talk about that, like with any authority. I asked them questions mostly because I wanted to know what they actually thought about it. And what I found is they're not in lockstep or agreement with it either. So, kind of interesting. I'll be right back. Ooh. I'll put away my Dao so it doesn't get poopy. Bitch, I ain't fucking with you. You little scary ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. You little pussy ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. Mm-hmm. Sexy. Nice cup of coffee sounds good. Get it. Get it. You never see the problem with immigrants. I've never met an immigrant who was better or worse than the average American. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? You're talking about culture clash. Talking about culture clash, man. You see the horrible video on the news of the emaciated hostage of Hamas digging his own grave in a tunnel? No. No, I didn't. But war is horrible. My internet is down? No, Chris. Or Andrew. I keep wanting to call you Chris Hedges, bro. You should look up Chris Hedges. He's a smart guy, but the way you just said, no, I didn't. Yeah. You guys are on a timer. The timer is this cigarette. I'm done with this cigarette. I'm going to go see if anybody's chilling in the dome, and I'm going to get to writing. Andrew's back. Back again. Andrew's back. Tell a friend. Andrew's back. 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 Banana. Banana. Working on your script? Yes, sir. People go insane more often in the old days, or just diagnosed. Yeah, I mean, they didn't know how to treat it back in the old days, but I'm pretty sure people went insane at the same rate. Maybe a little faster nowadays because we're living farther from the state of nature. You know. I almost finished the script yesterday. I've got maybe another 2-3 hours worth of tippy tapping done, and then I've got that first fucking draft with a polish pass. And then week after next, filming my locationals. And then after that, week after that, the edit begins. I'm guessing it's going to take us a couple of weeks after that to edit. What kind of script are you writing? Movie review script. Reviewing the Twilight franchise, the entire Twilight franchise, one big movie script, or one big review script. Favorite drug ever? Weed. Touch a scratch to feed the algorithm. Love to see you, Paul. By the way, I got each DFF host a card with some moolah for your cat's meal. Aw, dude, you didn't have to do that, bro. That was kind of you, though. I appreciate that, man. It's very cool. Yeah, it's gonna be bomb, man. This meetup is gonna be. We say this for every meetup, but it's been true every meetup. This meetup is gonna be a step above the last one. It's gonna kick ass. It's gonna be fire. Herbalist women and botanists ever burned at the stake? I don't know. I don't know, man. Probably. I think everybody, like everybody that did anything different, probably got burned at the stake at some point, right? Sometimes it don't come easy. It's getting low. It's getting darker. What is he? What is he? Hey, thanks for the buck. You Australian legend, you. Appreciate it. Couple bucks. We like that. Yeah, I don't know what burb that was, man. I don't know, man. I've never been to a third world country. I've seen the toilets over there. It looks like a lot of them like squat down and poop into a hole, which is like from what I've heard, that's the way you're supposed to do a poo. You're supposed to squat. You're not supposed to sit. So they probably get less hemorrhoids and stuff. We be sitting like we're lounging in a chair pooping. Some of these dudes, they just squat down and fucking let it rip. Yeah, hole in the ground, man. Anyway, thank you guys for chilling today. I enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. I might be back a little later. Probably going to cruise over to the Dome. I'll see you later.